Hi, Scott here. Hope you're well. Hope your trading journey is going well. It's always good to remind yourself that when it comes to trading, it's all about practice, 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 looking at the charts all the time. I know it gets a bit laborious sometimes, but that's what it's all about. More screen time, more chart time, the better. And always keep in mind that if you improve just 1% every day, in a year, you've improved 365%. And of course, that's compounded as well, so even higher than that. So just try and put in as much time as you can. And the goal is not to be right every time. The goal is to be consistently profitable, make more money than you lose. And all we need is 5% a month. That's all we need. With these prop firms, 5% a month is a nice income, very nice income. Okay, so keep at it. It's NFP week. We've got maybe some questionable volume. It's hard to know, but we had end of month on Monday, start of the month yesterday, and the charts aren't looking particularly great today. There's a few things to look at. We'll look at things anyway, and I'll give you my perspective what we've got. But there's not that much on the cards right now, but we'll dive in and I'll show you what I do have. Okay, so my video off, don't need me on there. Okay, so starting off with the higher time frames. Remember, what I'm here for is not to give you the best trades of the day. I'm here to give you my perspective and my learnings, and hopefully help you improve your knowledge on how you read the charts and how you can find your own charts for the day. Okay, so Aussie Kiwi. We've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the daily breakdown, and we aimed. I mentioned last few days, 0.618 is a typical fib extension of wave 3 for wave 5 for a kind of expected level to reach, and we've reached that and exceeded it slightly, so that's pretty good. It's a very bullish, bearish day yesterday, which is implying a bearish day today. But we will look at the lower time frames to see maybe this exhausts itself. Does Elliott wave 3 really play out here? One's a bit questionable. 3, it's questionable whether this is. I think I took this as a double top because of this. Yeah. This is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So that's pretty good, right? And we've already reached 0.618, so trading short from here is a bit of a something to be wary of. Right, lower time frames. What do we have? We have a nice downtrend, obviously, and we've actually got a nice trend line, which is always good. Break of the trend line is often a good sign that the trend is at or near an end. But it still seems to be meeting the trend line and carrying on down very nicely. The 1 hour 50 is falling behind quite a long way now, which is not so good. You see behind back here, it had to break through this trend line to reach the 1 hour 50, then it came back through it again. And back here, to break through it again, didn't even reach the 1 hour 50, but then came back down. So the trend line is holding very strong. And now it's got to break back even further to reach the 1 hour 50, it seems. Seems to be accelerating away from it. We also have a double bottom in play with the price action this morning. Maybe, yeah, well, it's a double bottom. Obviously, this is very low volume, the first hour of the day. We've got a double bottom, quite a clean one here. And let's see what the MACD gives us. We've basically got a nice pip snatcher, 1 to 1. Looks good apart from the 1 hour 50 being quite a way behind, which may be an issue. And let's try and disqualify it any other ways we can. RSI doesn't really give us much. MACD, it's been getting lower and lower and lower and lower. The MACD has been getting sideways and higher, apart from this run down here. MACD's kind of been okay since this point here. It's been trending lower, apart from this last low here, which is on low volume. So anyway, it looks like the MACD is exhausting itself. We'd like to see this trending down as well. And it's not. It's been basically going sideways since back here. So there's not much gusto in the downtrend, especially now. So I suggest that probably near in the end, with double bottom, we might find a breakout, back and retest the trend line, and then a trend up to the 4-hour 50 at a minimum. So although the pitch snatch is there, it just looks a little bit questionable to me. I wouldn't take that personally. Remember, we've got the daily, we've already reached our 0.618 fib extension on our wave 5. So it's probably getting exhausted. Do we have a MACD on here? No, we don't. The MACD seems okay. Just like we are getting a fair bit of downward pressure here. The hourly is looking a bit tired as well. Has been for quite a while. So I personally wouldn't take that as a pitch snatch. Will it work out? Maybe. Maybe. There's no definites in this world of trading. But I will put that down to watching. What I'll actually be watching it for is for this to break, probably test the 1 hour, maybe go straight through it. But basically I'm looking for a break and a retest of that 1 hour 50 and trade it long as a IBO. Something like, something like that maybe. So, one to watch. Euro Swiss, what have we got here? Euro Swiss. So we've had I found this trend line here, which seems to be, support resistance line, SR line, which has been respected here, 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 and recently again here. And almost back there. There's not much else going on at this level for a long time, or forever. So that's the daily here. So we do seem to have rejected that level. It seems to be reasonable. We've had a breakdown, a retest, and it's broken down the last couple of days. So it looks like we might be going short. Let's see what the hourly gives us. Okay, so we've got a long trend line going quite a way back, it seems. Yeah, right back to here, which is middle of October. So a couple of weeks at least. And it's finally broken it properly yesterday. And when it broke, it flew down. So we did get an IBO here. We actually got an IBO here as well. That one failed. Just because there's too much bullish momentum, not enough time for it to decelerate and make a trend reversal. So it did fall back here. But it did make a lower high. Then we got a double top. Then we got an equal low here with this one. And then finally we got another lower high, and this IBO played out. Had to trade through that trend line. So I probably wouldn't have taken that one. I would have taken that one for that reason. But once we've cleared it, we've got a choice of what's going to happen next. Of course, we don't know for sure, but most likely, rather than get another IBO, which will be discretionary because we've already had 2 of them, where it pulls back to the 1 hour 50, and that could happen. Well, it's Euro Swiss, that won't happen for probably another 7 or 8 hours. So it could easily just go along sideways in that time. It doesn't tend to do too much in the Asia session. Can I do that? And in 7 or 8 hours, this 1 hour 50 maybe will catch up with the 4 hour 50. Either way, so this probably won't happen like this. It'll probably be happening down here somewhere. Target with the daily 20 as a minimum, I suggest, for these lows. which is about the same. But it's the price action we're really looking for here. We don't want it to be going sideways and then trading short. That's not, that price action does not tell us that the big money is interested, and the big money, they're the ones who move the markets, right? If we don't trade with them, then we're just pure luck, waiting for some pure luck to help us. So I'd suggest what we're going to have here, or hope for, we don't know, we might do nothing. But if it's going to be a trade for me, I need to break down further, pull back in 8-10 hours time, maybe later, and then we can take a short. So this will be a CBO. That will measure up the fib, maybe from these highs here to about here somewhere. Looks about right. Then we have our entry about here on our 382, which is this red line on our fib. Lines up with our pivot quite nicely. And the 1 hour 50 by there will have caught up. Stop behind the 382. Down to profit target are just above the daily 20, or these highs over here. So these lows over here. And that'll give us a nice CBO with some good profit potential there. So we're waiting for that to do that. So although it's a trade which may play out soon, if it does, I wouldn't take it because of the time of day. It needs to be set up for 8 hours time, and hopefully set up something like this. So that really is a blue, and I'll just put it down here. Okay, Euro Q, what have we got here? So it's breaking down. It's broken down below the daily 20, which is nice. Pulling back as an A, B, C, maybe, or it could even be a new trend. And this wave 1, wave 2, this could be wave 3. The lows we just reached line up with these highs back here and these highs here, and you can see from the monthly there's lots and lots of price action around this level, which doesn't necessarily mean this is a major level, but the fact it was a major level recently, and you could almost say here as well, then maybe that's going to be a support level needs to be pushed through. Bearish day last couple of days, so that's looking good. But just breaking through the daily 50. Is that a clear break and it's going to keep on going short, or is it just going to bounce off here and then just continue going up? The price action on the monthly, nothing. Weekly, up and down a lot. Reached this level, bounced off quite strongly. Not quite reached the daily 20 yet. So the weekly 20, so maybe pull back further, the weekly 50. Oversold, we were oversold a few weeks ago. So maybe there's some more bearish pressure to come, or maybe the trend will continue. There's nothing really clear here. Daily, nothing. MACD looks okay. It was overbought, but now we're already back below the halfway line, so the trend could continue. The uptrend, that is, the uptrend could continue. This could just be a pullback in an uptrend. There's not really a whole lot there, is there, from the daily? What does the hourly give us? The hourly gives us a pretty good downtrend. Just clearly, actually, both for the daily 50, which is green line here, quite clearly. Retested it here. And it's offering us now pitch that to short. Just the general price action doesn't look great to me. But if we look at the hourly 50, it's quite a way behind. So this needs to catch up. We're already at the pivot. We've actually got a higher low here. This is the low, and then we reach a higher low. So that's a bad point against the pip snatcher. We need to see nice clean price action down, pull back, and continue. MACD. Well, recently it's been going okay from this point. We're getting lower and lower. apart from this one here. There to there is a divergence, only a slight one. From there to there, from this low to this low. But it seems to be pulling back quite heavily on the MACD for this sideways action. So that's a bit of a warning sign as well. The good thing in favour is the daily 50 will also act as support, or sorry, as resistance, so it pulls back. So there's lots of pros and cons. Overall, I'd say it's a no-go. It's just got to be cleaner than that for pip snatcher. Pip snatcher is only 1-to-1. You're only making 1% profit if you're risking 1%. So you really want to be sure that you've got a high strike rate, as in you're right a lot more times than you're wrong. And this for me is more of a 50-50 trade. So for me, that's a no. Kiwi CAD, what do we have here? So the Kiwi CAD, we've got downtrend on the daily as well. Nice bounce, breaking through the daily 50 and looking quite strong now. Had a couple of bullish days as it retested the daily 50 and seems to be going long. Quick look at the weekly. We do have a MACD slightly. It's very slightly lower, but quite a lot lower on the price action, implying it may be reversing here. On the daily, back here, it's been trending downwards, downwards, and then trending up here. Had this big pullback, so I guess that's like a reset. The other side went up to near the overbought territory, so MACD's kind of reset there, and since then we've been trending lower, and the MACD get bigger, it's trending lower as well. So it's been looking okay up to now, but now we do have a very strong uptrend in play, it seems. We've reached the weekly 20, maybe that's where it's going to bounce, continue down. But for the last few days, it seems that we're in an uptrend. So we'll go with that and see what the hourly gives us. Okay, we can see the uptrend nicely there. We've got a trend line as well, which seems to be respected very well, apart from that was a gap down at the Monday open. See that by the gap from this close to this open. And this one here, it just went down below it briefly and back up again. That could well have been a news event of some kind. Since then, it's been following. We'll go with the MACD for the moment. Since then, it's been following the trend line very well. Bit of a blow off top kind of look. Real acceleration away from the trend line and the pullback. But the 1 hour 50 is still pretty close with the trend line. That all looks pretty nice. And the retest around here somewhere, Kiwi, Asia session, that could be fine. Could pull back here for an entry and be a nice quick 1-to-1. Again, Pipsatcher 1-to-1 trade, enter around the pivot, stop just below the S1, take profit below the R1 at 1%, and we can just about squeeze that in before we hit the R1 line, that orange line there. So that looks okay. Let's look at the MACD. Anything to disqualify it here? Well, apart from this one up here, since then we have slightly lower than a big run up. So that there was a bit of a trend reversal kind of pattern. MACD not giving us much, kind of agreeing, just going sideways. And there's a big push up yesterday, and the MACD's followed suit. So the MACD seems to agree. There's no divergence there. It all looks okay. Seems to be dropping off quite a bit here on the MACD for this latest pullback, but it's still okay. So there's nothing to disqualify it. So if you fancy that one, that could be the best trade we've got. The only trade we've got today so far. Okay, that's all I can really see lining up right now. Let's go through some other ones which may line up a bit later. KGN. Zoom in a little bit. So we've been rejecting this level here again. Bouncing up rejection, bouncing up rejection. Big MACD divergence. Oh, actually, it's lower, isn't it? So it looks like a MACD divergence, and that is slightly lower price action on the high. On the MACD, it's a lot lower. So bit of a MACD divergence, but not that clear. Price action recently, testing the highs. This level here is at a good level. Let's just put it in. And what do we have? Anything else up there? Get the monthly chart now. Oh yeah, right back here we do. This is how I check my levels, if they really are significant or not. These are all synced. So if you go to the layout button up here, no, it's not, it's this button here. You see we've got syncing layout at the bottom here. And we can sync symbol, crosshair, time. I think these are automatically there, symbol and crosshair, because we always need that. But the time is the one I use here. If you do the time, then when you click on this chart, these other windows will sync at the same time. Look at a little tip there. So when I click on it, I can go back to the monthly very quickly, see where this support resistance line I'm testing, see where that is hitting the price action. Just click on it. It'll take me there on the daily, and I can then see if there's much of a support resistance that is significant at this particular time. So here we see it's pretty good. It's gone up, rejects it very strongly. That's good. Little rejection there, a little bit lower there. Not too much there. Back over here. Yeah, a little bit there. Came up, rejected it, then broke through. It's kind of medium strength at the moment. Where am I? So I've gone through that price action. And we're now back to 1994. And nothing to give us much back here, probably. Not really. Okay. So it's kind of a medium. Not the strongest levels, but pretty good. Recently, it's been rejected. So we could be looking for a down day today. Price action on the 1 hour. What do we see? We have a trend line. Price action, this is the run up. Trend line supported well, then broken, tested there, broken cleanly through here. This was on Tuesday, yesterday morning. Broke down straight out to the 4 hour 50, bounced back to the 1 hour 50, and then it's bouncing off of there right now. So we did have an entry here last night. If you managed to catch that, nice one. It looks like it's playing out quite well, and it's really being a yen. It's playing out nice in the Asia session. So the next trade for us will be a break of the 4 hour 50. Break, retest 4 hour 50, and then we can take it down to day 20, this red line, or the daily 50, this green line. Just a recap, the red line here is the hourly 50. On my charts, the 50 EMA is always the red one. So this is the 1 hour chart, so it's the 1 hour 50. And then other ones are different. I just make them up as I go along. The blue line on here is the 4 hour 50. So I can see on this one layout, this one chart, where the 4 hour 50 is, which is the obvious support resistance in many of our trades, many of our trade setups. So break of the 4 hour 50, pull back to the 4 hour 50, and that could be a nice little trade setting up later. Okay, US Swiss, what have we got here? Again, we've got some rejection of a level. Is it significant? Not much happening down here, it looks like. So, no. Kind of new territory down here. but rejected it, retested it, rejected it. Maybe we're looking short again today. At least pull back to the daily 2050 zone before maybe continuing long. The weekly is showing us that we pulled back down pretty low, probably oversold at that point. Oversold all the way down here and then bounced off to the halfway line, so the trend could continue. It's in the 2050 zone on the weekly, so the trend might continue. Short, that is, the downtrend, the big trend. We've had a break at the daily 50, so at the moment in the shorter term, the trend is up. In the medium term, it's down. But this looks like a pullback to the 2050 zone on the daily, so I would suggest short for today. Let's see what the 1 hour chart gives us. So we had a strong uptrend, really nice trend line, got broken, retested and broken, and then broken cleanly yesterday, and then also broke the 1 hour 50 here and the 4 hour 50 here as well. So we've got a break and a pull back to the 4 hour 50. What's it going to do now? It's going to pull back to the 1 hour 50, Euro Swiss. So that's probably 8 hours away before the setup. In that time, the 1 hour 50 will hopefully keep trending down. So most likely scenario is the CBO. And we've got a trend line here as well. So trend line is 2 highs. It'd be a nice place for it to retest the 382, the 1 hour 50 to catch up, and enter around the 4 hour 50. So that could be a nice one. Is that the one I went through earlier? Can't remember. That trend line is pretty good as well. It's got a pound CAD. Pound CAD, again, bouncing off this level here. Is it significant? We've said looking for a short yesterday that didn't really happen. The weekly, almost back to the weekly 50. So it's looking like it could go short. Yeah, so the hourly, what do we have in the hourly chart? Yeah, trend obviously clearly broken now. Come back and retested it. This is why you need to be careful with strong uptrends or strong trends and a quick reversal. This wasn't a very good IBO anyway, but had it been a nice clean IBO, it'd still be very risky because of all this upward pressure. The trend is not going to reverse that quickly. And as you can see, it actually went up here again and even retested that trend line. So always be aware of that. All these people that went long down here, watching their money grow, their profits grow, they need to get out somewhere. This first bounce down here, a lot of people will have got out, other people will be still holding their long position, wanting to get out now. They can see this potential trend change, so they're waiting for any opportunity to get out. So when it does pull back up here, the big money makers or the big market players push the price up so they can unload their positions. And that's why we get this. That's why we get price action in general. Right. So we had a break of the 1 hour 50 yesterday, hit the 4 hour, came back to the 1 hour. Again, would have been a nice little IBO. Looks like the fibs line up about right. Maybe not very well. But it came back to the fib. Always like to look at these sort of things. Did a fib from the highs to the lows. Yeah, it came back the 1 hour 50 briefly to reach the 382. And then the IBO played out. Looks like it might be coming back again. So I wouldn't want to take the second IBO because this price action is a bit sideways, a bit yucky. Want to see a break the 4 hour 50, this blue line, break down lower. Don't need to go down that far, maybe down to there. Pull back to 4 hour 50, nice little CBO short to daily 20 or daily 50. And the CBO, the fib will probably go from these highs here. Try again. Hit from these highs. Down to about here somewhere. That's about right. 382. So it should be probably around here somewhere. We need the price action to break down so the 1 hour 50 can follow it down and come back as well. The entry. All right, so pound CAD, that could be a nice one for later. Pound Swiss, probably not too different. Again, we've got this line rejection. The weekly, it's had a great pullback, closing in on the weekly 50, but not quite there yet. So maybe we'll get some more bullish pressure to the weekly 50 before it rejects, or maybe it's just going to reject it from here. So probably looking at short at this point in time. Look at the hourly chart, see what we get. Uptrend clearly broken. Again, it came back and retested it yesterday. Got that one there. That's what I mentioned yesterday. Gave a perfect IBO, as in the setup of the fibs and everything else. And luckily it came back to retest this trend line early. Had it retested up here somewhere, would have been much higher and could potentially have taken out your stop. If you got in this one, that's good. Your stop should be up here somewhere, so you're probably fine. And then run a bit of profit before it pull back again. So now, from now on, we've had the IBO. Take it again, you could do discretionary. I would wait to see, we've actually got a lower low. So that's good. I'd wait for CBO. Like the last chart, pull down to here somewhere, over down here. Back to the 4 hour 50, let the 1 hour 50 catch up, and CBO down to 50, daily 50. Could be playing out later on. We'll see. Kiwi Swiss. So we've had this massive trend line here. Now I actually moved it slightly, I tweaked it a bit because you can see that yesterday's price action could be still in it, just about. It's hard to tell exactly. Always with trend lines, this is one thing I was not very good at first. I put a trend line in and then it would stay there. You're thinking that trend line is there forever, but in fact it can be moved. You can move this end, you can move this end, you know, you can move it, and suddenly that trend line has a different meaning. Had I left this down here, trend line's broken. Okay, we're going long. Now let's move it up to there. And so the trend line is still there, still in play, still resistance, and we could be going short. So always be careful with the trend lines. Okay, so what are we looking at here? That trend line is still in play. We'll be looking at some kind of short action. This is the old trend line I had, which may still be correct, but I don't know. Or maybe it's actually up here. And it's rejected it again. So we don't know. We need to make sure it breaks down and shows us clearly that there's a pullback in play. So for an IBO, nice break of 1 hour 50 and this trend line here, which we've had in play for a few days. Pull back, and that can give us a short trade down to 4 hour 50. Okay, so that's that. We still have higher highs and higher lows, lower lows maybe. So we need to have a clear breakdown and a pullback. Anything on the MACD to say that the trend is changing? Not really. The trend was looking a bit suspect up to yesterday, and we've had a big push. But now you see the MACD is coming back pretty severely, even though the price action is mostly sideways. So that's giving you an indication that maybe there's one more push up for a quick double top maybe, and then a breakdown, or maybe just keep falling from here. So it looks like the trend is about to reverse to some extent, and we'll wait for that confirmation before we take a trade. Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar, okay, we're hitting the daily 50, pull back to the daily 50, rejected it, pulled back again, and are we rejecting it again? Or was that daily So if it's going to hold or is it going to break? You don't want to trade through it. So we will wait for confirmation that the trend has changed. And what we look for is something like this. This is like this one from yesterday, this one. So for an IBO, we've still got a higher high here. We've now got, no, we've still got a higher low as well. So the trend has not changed yet. Well, it did a bit here, went to a downtrend here, now it's in an uptrend again. So we get mixed signals, we need confirmation this is definitely a trend change. And for that, we would need if we just pull back to here, we've still got a higher low. So that's still very risky as an IBO. It's an IBOB. Might even be a C if it pulls out the 550. But we do need some kind of confirmation that the trend has changed, I think, because it's a bit questionable at the moment. So if you take an IBOB or C, whatever sets up, at a higher risk, or you could just wait for the 4-hour-50 to break. That'll give you nice confirmation that the trend has changed. Let me go back to the daily just to picture that. So that would mean we'd then be trading through and back down to the support level. So to keep an eye on. Last one we look at is dollar Swiss. We've got rejection of this level, which is rejected here, 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 and here. So we've had lots of rejections, a very strong level. We've got the MACD is not that clear, apart from the last two. No, the MACD is not really giving us anything. It's not even that overbought anymore, because with overbought and oversold, it can reset itself, I call it, just with time. Sometimes a price action will give you a reset, the big pullback, like here, overbought at this point, up into the red territory. But as soon as it goes past the halfway line, in just those few days, it's reset and the chain can continue, which it did. But sometimes, like here, or even this one maybe, right up here, it's almost in the red, almost very overbought. You see it's going down in time. It's been basically going sideways, but it's been going down with time. Sometimes time can reset the overboughtness. Okay, so we've possibly got a short trade coming in here. And again, looking to price action, it's very undecided, should we say. We're going a downtrend, now we're an uptrend. And if we do want a downtrend, if we do think it's going to go in a downtrend, we need this to clearly break this low. Maybe not go quite that far, like that. And give us a test the 4-hour-50 and the 1-hour-50. Maybe quite that far. And then we can trade it back down to the daily 50. So not particularly great, but we'll see how that sets up. It's quite interesting. Okay, that's what I have for you. Okay, there you go. So not that much looking good for today, but a few things to keep an eye on. And hopefully, well, NFP week, maybe traders are taking time off this week. So we'll just see how it plays out, but hopefully we'll get something today, tomorrow, Friday. And if not, then we'll just wait for next week. Okay, I hope you found it useful anyway. I'll speak to you soon. Have a great day. See ya.